Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today we're gonna be wrapping up my 2023 Rolling Style Project Pan. I have been focusing consistently on 10 items in this project pan month after month, and I've been doing it in a rolling style kind of format, and we're gonna talk about all the statistics at the end of today's video. But today we are wrapping up the project for the year. So I wanna, of course, recap what the last month has looked like, how much progress I've made, the number of goals that I've been able to hit. And then we're gonna talk a little bit bigger picture about the entirety of this year towards the end of the video. So definitely stay tuned for that. I am so excited to be wrapping up this project. I have actually successfully met 6 of my 10 goals this past month. So I have surpassed 50% of my goals hit, which means that, yeah, I just feel comfortable with concluding this project pan for now. And some of these items might end up getting rolled into my 2024 project pan at some point to kind of finish them up, meet those goals. But I'm just excited for the month of December to just be a little bit more lax, to just not have necessarily any items that I'm focusing on, and just getting a feel for my collection and playing around with things in a more natural kind of way. In my last update for this project, I was incredibly close on several items. The first one actually being an item that I rolled in my last update. So we talked about it at the very tail end of last update. It was the Fenty primer. I had decanted it into this old loose powder container and it is completely empty now. I've used up every single last possible drop of this product. It was the Fenty, I believe it's the Pro Filter. Yeah, Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. And as you can see, the packaging is entirely empty. That product that was decanted is now entirely gone. So it only took me a handful of uses. I'll have the use numbers on the screen for everything, but it really didn't take me that much longer to use, but I'm happy that I put it into this project instead of just holding on to a tiny amount of primer, and that gives me another makeup empty for the end of the year. I will be sharing with you my 2023 makeup empties in the coming weeks, so this is very exciting to me. I also should let you know that I wore makeup 24 times since the last time that I updated this project. It's been about a month since I last sat down and filmed an update, so 24 times wearing makeup was pretty significant for me, and that's how I think I was able to push through and reach a lot of my goals, including this next one, although I didn't really use it that much. This next product is the Vesca Moonlit Dream Cream Shadow. This one's in the shade Lyra, and I had set myself a goal to use this 20 times over the course of the project. I'd rolled it in, I think, at the middle of summer kind of time, and I only had 4 additional uses to achieve that goal in the month of November. So that was, oh God, whew, there's a squirrel that just showed up in my windowsill. That scared the heck out of me. Anyways, sorry, that really startled me. So I had to compose myself, but we're back. I don't remember exactly where I was at, but in any case, this is a product that I only had 4 additional uses on, so it was no problem to reach that 20 use goal in the month of November. Here is a swatch of it. As you can see, it is just a really soft kind of rosy golden shade, super flattering, really easy to wear with so many different looks, a really easy to play with kind of formula as well. It is great. Unfortunately, Vesca is no longer available, but this is a good product to just kind of have in the rotation when I'm looking for something a little bit more special. And this pairs with so many different eyeshadows, so it's been a lot of fun to play with in those 20 uses. I wasn't necessarily aiming to try to track any kind of visual progress on this, and it has been kind of hard, but I do feel like I've made some visual difference in the amount of product in here. And in fact, last night I had it standing up on my desk and I looked through this morning, and while I don't feel like I can make a new marking from previous, there is definitely a lot more windows, a lot more gapping in here. The light shines through the product a lot more when I use my flashlight to kind of shine through it. So that feels good. Like, I know that there is progress happening on this. Not only have I used it 20 times this year that I may have not reached for it, but I can actually visually see the difference, and that is great. I'm so happy about that. This next product I have been aiming to hit pan on for several months now in the project, and unfortunately, I just have not been able to do it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic Swish and Pop Blusher in the shade Ecstasy. Unfortunately, no pan yet. There is a little bit of a dip starting to happen kind of up here in this section. It looks like it's down, but it's actually at the top of the product, like towards the mirror. It's like right there. There's a bit of a dip starting to happen whenever I use this as like an eyeshadow. I've been kind of concentrating my brush there just in the hopes that maybe I could create the pan a little bit more concentrated, but no pan yet. I've used this a lot, especially in this past month. I've been ensuring that I'm really reaching for it because I thought maybe I'd be able to make that happen in the final push of the year, but unfortunately not yet. Maybe I could hit pan on it by the end of this year just outside of the project, but I think I'm just gonna put this back in my drawer for a little bit, play around with other powder blushes from my collection, and yeah, just enjoy other things that I have. I guess we may as well talk about a couple other panned products that have been in the project for a couple months as well. This next one, actually these next two items, I really didn't think that I'd hit my goal on, and unfortunately I have not, but still important to track progress and to share the progress because I really feel like things have visually changed a lot throughout this project pan. So this next item is the Becca bronzer in the shade Capri Coast. This one, like I said, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to actually finish it, but I wanted to work towards that end goal of finishing it. And I've made significant progress on this over the last few months of focusing on this item. I am so happy with how this is looking. I was able to hit a little bit of side pan this month as well. And you can see it's just a very, very small amount of product in these outer rims. But similar to what I'm going to be doing with my blushes is I'm gonna put this back in my drawers. I'm gonna play around with other bronzers from my collection, just kind of get a feel for the other bronzers that I've been maybe not reaching for as often as I've been focusing on this one. And then in early 2024, at some point, I'm sure I'll pull this into my project pan and just bust out that last little bit of product because it really isn't gonna take me too much longer, maybe a couple of months time to be able to finish it up. And that leaves me in a really, really good spot for next year's panning. So I'm really happy with the progress nevertheless. So as I said, I also have not technically hit my goal on this. This is the Mattifying Moondust powder in the shade Translucent from Cheekbone Beauty. I'd rolled this in actually, I think at the same time that I rolled in the Charlotte Tilbury blush and the Becca bronzer. And so I don't have my goal hit on this per se, but I kind of knew that wasn't gonna happen. I just wanted to make more progress on this. So when I look at it that way, I guess I have actually achieved my goal. There just is no tangible end goal with this item. I just have been working towards expanding the pan, ensuring that I'm reaching for this whenever I do feel like a powder is necessary in my routine, and I have been doing that. So overall, yeah, this is not an empty. I would not imagine that I'd be able to finish this in the short amount of time that I've had it. I believe I purchased this in like the springtime in 2022. And so that's not really that long for me personally to have products in my collection, but especially a powder. I don't use powders all that often. They're just something that I use on occasion. And you'll see that based on like the number of uses that I've had on this product in this project pan. It's really quite minimal, but the pan has expanded and I have been reaching for this as a priority powder when I do feel like I need it, and that is important. So technically not a goal hit because I said I wanted to finish it, but when I rolled it in, I knew that wasn't gonna be the case, so that's okay. This next empty is very exciting for me. It is very rare that I finish up eyeshadows, but I was able to do so with my Colourpop Tea Garden. Why I had to look at the back, I don't know, because I know this is the pressed powder shadow in Tea Garden, but nevertheless, it is 100% empty. There is no product in here. This was a beautiful duochrome green gold with a reddish kind of base, an incredibly flattering, gorgeous, easy to wear shadow that still had some sort of oomph to it, a little bit of interest to it. And while I am actually kind of missing this, I do have a lot of other alternatives for this in my collection throughout palettes, because it is the kind of shade that I'm really drawn to, and I feel like it's a really just fun color, so it ends up being kind of in a lot of palettes. So I feel like while I miss this particular one, I do have alternatives for it, which I'm happy about, and I'm so happy to see an empty pan of eyeshadow. It is very, very, very rare for me to actually use up eyeshadows in my collection, but I managed to do it with one of my faves, so that feels so good to me. And we might as well talk about another Colourpop product here. My goal with this one was to finish it up. Unfortunately, I have not been able to do that yet, but I'm actually making significant progress over these last couple of months. This is the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Light 6W. I was actually able to make a new mark in this product since my last update, which is great because there were a couple months that I had this in where I wasn't even able to make new markings because I was using such little product. But now that I've lost my summer tan and I've just been kind of leaning into using this product more and more, I've actually been able to make a really good amount of progress, and I'm so happy with that. Overall, I'm so happy to see how like small this product is, how concentrated the amount of actual product is down here. Lets me know that I'm so close to done. It really isn't gonna take me that much longer, maybe a couple of more months. And I think I can get this gone before I get my summer tan. I would really love to do that. So I'm definitely gonna continue to use this over the remainder of December and into the early parts of the new year, just while this matches me so well and while it's still good, because I bought this in 2020 and I know for a fact that it's like expiring, if not already expired, but it hasn't caused any sort of irritation or breakouts to my skin. I haven't noticed a change in the texture or performance. It simply is that I've noticed a little bit more of like a paint type of smell versus I think before it just really didn't have a smell, if that makes sense. So I'm still using it. I still feel comfortable with using it. But if anything was to change moving forward, I definitely would not use it, but I want to use it up before it gets to that point. So this was the sample that truly lasted for an eternity. And while it is on my lips today, it is finally an empty. I would call it an empty at this point. There's maybe a couple more swipes of pigment that I can get out of here, and I'll throw those on my lips before I hop on a work call this afternoon. But yeah, it's done. It's done in my eyes. This is the Fenty Icon lipstick in the shade the MVP. This sample lasted me a freaking eternity. I can't believe how many months I've come back and updated you on this dang tiny little lipstick sample, but here we are today. It is finally gone and I am thrilled. I'm so happy about this. I probably wore red lips more often than I have in any years past, so that was a big accomplishment. That was a big change for me and a challenge for me, but I am so happy this is finally done. I've worn it a lot in the month of November in order to push through it, which works well because it is the holiday season now. But yeah, I'm kind of burnt out on red lips. I probably won't wear a red lip over the actual holidays like as we get into Christmas time and for the new year. I'm probably gonna steer clear of red lips, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm so happy about this though. Look at that. Finally, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it's finally gone. In the last update of this project, we were so incredibly close to done with this little bad boy right here, and I'm so happy to say that we finally have finished it. This is the Colourpop So Juicy, I believe it's the Plumping lip gloss. This one was in the shade Stuntin, which is completely rubbed off of the packaging now. In fact, the packaging in general is a little bit funky at this point. The lid ended up cracking about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago at this point. So I put some washi tape on it, but the product has been like slowly oozing out. So there's some dog hair on it. It's just a sticky mess. So I'm so happy I finally used it up because it has been kind of a bit of a struggle for the last little while trying to finish this just because it was a not very pleasant experience to be holding the lid and stuff. So thank God this is done. It was not a favorite lip gloss formula for me, a little bit too sticky. It really, you know, my hair was like magnetically attracted to it. My hair would always get stuck in this if I wore it out of the house. So it was more of like a house kind of lip gloss for me, but then it would get like this sticky residue on all my glasses and mugs. So it just wasn't a favorite. Not a fave, but I'm happy I used it up. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about it actually. I'm glad it is gone. I'm glad. And last, I think we have the most exciting of all of the updates, and it is my Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Angel Alessandra, which I had depotted a couple of months ago, and I have now finished up every last possible bit of this lipstick. So there is nothing remaining in this pan. I mean, I guess there's a tiny little layer of product, but nothing usable within this pan. I just got to clean it up, and nothing at all in the bullet. I dug into that a couple of months ago. Why am I so awkward? I dug into it a couple of months ago, and yeah, you can see it is entirely empty. I primarily wore this as a cream blush over the last couple of months, but I love it as a lipstick and a cream blush equally. It was a really beautiful creamy formula. The smell was really nice. It kind of smelled like Cadbury mini eggs. So good, so good. I really enjoyed this. The color was this gorgeous peachy shade that was super flattering, but I'm not gonna be repurchasing it. I still got a lot of lipsticks to work my way through. I have more than I really need. So super happy to get a lipstick empty through this project pan. In fact, this is the second lipstick empty that I have from this project pan for this year, which is amazing. So that was all 10 products. I didn't hit my goal on the Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation, but it's incredibly close. Definitely going to be an empty in the early new year. I didn't hit my goal on 3 other products either. The Cheekbone Beauty Powder, I didn't hit my goal on the Charlotte Tilbury blush or the Becca bronzer, but that's okay. That is okay. I'm so happy with the successes that I did have in this project. These 6 items that I was able to hit my goal on in this last month feels so good. It's a great way to end this project, so I'm so happy that I'm going to be calling it quits for the project pan for this year. And with all that being said, I want to hop in and talk about some actual like nitty-gritty numbers, some statistics from over this past year and some numbers. I just want to share with you kind of what I've been tracking and how I did overall over this project pan since the beginning of 2023. So as you know, month after month, I've been letting you know how often I've been wearing makeup. I did this last year because it's really interesting to just kind of see in comparison to how much I'm wearing makeup, how much makeup I'm able to use up, how much progress I'm able to make month after month. And I just wanted to share with you the total number of times I have worn makeup since January 1st this year is 271 times. That doesn't necessarily mean that I wore a full face of makeup every single one of those times. That doesn't even necessarily mean that I wore makeup 271 days. Some days I would do my makeup in the morning and then I would take it off and I would redo it going out at night. Or some days I would literally just put on a swipe of mascara and I would count it as a day of wearing makeup as well. I just wanted to see like how much do I actually wear makeup in my day-to-day life. So it's really interesting to me to look back on 2023 and see that I wore makeup 271 total times. And so that is something that I think is really important to keep in mind when I talk about like how much makeup I'm able to use up, how many goals I'm able to hit as well, because I am wearing makeup a good majority of the time. So I am ensuring that my project pan items are getting used really often, really often. So that is just something to keep in mind. So let's chat about the actual number of goals. In this project pan, I have focused on a total of 31 individual items, and that includes all of these items that we had just talked about today. So as I shared with you today, I had 10 items here. I hit my goal on 6. 4 of those I did not hit my goal on. But of those 31 items that I have focused on throughout this project this year, I have actually managed to hit my goal on 24 of them. So I didn't hit my goal on 4 items here that we're talking about today, and I didn't hit my goal on 1 item that I did decide to declutter this year. And then there was another item that I focused on that actually was a duo of 2 products. And I decided to just simply roll that out when I felt no longer interested in using it, but I didn't have an actual goal with that product. So that's why that one's an outlier. So I decluttered my Milk bronzer through using it in this project. I didn't hit my goal on 4 of my focus items wrapping up this project. And then I didn't have a goal to hit with my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. So I wasn't able to hit some goals throughout this year, but most items that I worked on were a success story. I was able to hit a new pan in 1 product. I found that in my graveyard project pan, I really focused on hitting pans more than in this particular project, but still 1 new pan that I had aimed to hit in this project was accomplished. And then I did hit my usage goal, or like amount of product used goal, on 6 items in my collection as well. So some of those I had said I wanted to use like 20 times, and some other things like the lip liner that I was working on earlier in the year in particular, I said I wanted to use half. So that was a usage goal counted instead of an empty. And speaking of empties, I was able to finish up 17 items through this project this year, which I am so happy about. That feels really significant to me. I'm so happy. 17 total empties throughout this project is amazing. So I was actually able to hit my goal on 4 samples. Just in the nick of time, I finished up that Fenty one. So we had 4 samples used up throughout this year. We had 3 base products used up throughout this year, 2 of which were primer and 1 was a foundation. It was a tinted moisturizer. We were able to use up 5 lip products this year, which is amazing. I used up 3 glosses and 2 lipsticks. I am so happy about those numbers. And in the eyes department, we were able to use up 2 items. One was an eyeliner, one was an eyeshadow. And then the cheek realm, I was able to finish up 3 products, 2 of which were highlighters and 1 of which was a blush. So I am so happy looking back and seeing all these statistics and knowing that I was wearing makeup so often and I was using up things throughout this year. I was using items and getting usage goals hit, and I was just making really great progress on my collection through this project, and it feels great. It really does. It's so fulfilling to look back and see how much progress I made throughout this year. I really hope that if you were on a project panning journey this year, that you were able to hit some of your goals and learn some things about your makeup preferences, and to just play around with your collection and just look back on the year and know that you were using what you had. I really hope that was the case. And if it wasn't, that is a-okay. 2024 is just around the corner and you can have a nice refresh. I know for me, I'm gonna be kicking off a rolling style project pan again in the beginning parts of 2024. I cannot wait to hop back into project panning, but I do think that a little bit of breathing room for about a month's time will be important to just play around and see what I want to play with, what I want to use. Are there things that I want to declutter? I don't really feel like that right now, but maybe. We will see. That is everything though. I gotta cut myself off here because I am on the ramble bus without a doubt, but that is everything. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me. It means so much to me, but hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.